Yes, you, watching this video. Do you want to own a piece of Scribbler? Only not a lock of hair or blood or flesh or anything else that will get you in trouble with the law? Well, now you can, with t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags and mugs featuring Obab Scribbler at her TeeSpring store. You know you want to. I shall now stop talking in third person and send you on to the video. Be lovely to each other and enjoy the show.
It was an unusual thing for Pear Butter to set a table just for two. Small dinners had been the rule in the city where she had grown up. Just her mother and father gathered around a glass tabletop set, with delicate bone china plates and gleaming flatware, with a little soft jazz queued up on the stereo for background. She had always hated meal times in the city, truth to tell. And that first Thanksgiving with the Apple family out on the old country holdings had come as the most delightful of surprises. Like some sort of fairy tale wizard, her strong, soft-spoken fiancé had whisked her away to a magical realm of old linen, mismatched dish sets, and relatives in such abundance that she was hard-pressed to even remember their names. Oh, and best of all, hooping and hollering instead of jazz. Lots and lots of both. And of course, shortly after they were married, they had started making their own additions to the family tree. For years, there had never been a table set for less than 6 in the Apple family dining room. Her beloved husband, herself, Macintosh, their eldest and heir apparent to Bright Mac's proud little orchard and distillery, their Spitfire daughter Applejack, and sweet little Bloom, doted on by all. The 6th member of their crew was Bright Mac's elderly, but still quite spry, mother, who had moved in with them from the larger country farmhouse when her own husband had passed. The family had worried about her living all alone, and beyond that, Bright Mac's house was a much shorter commute to her new day job serving lunches to dreamy high schoolers. Family was family, after all, and they were, to a one, happy to have her company. Meals were never a dull affair with all 6 of them gathered around. And then, time and happenstance had started to take a toll. They were 5 whenever Macintosh was called away to an agronomy conference, as such was the case tonight. Bloom had metamorphosed from a chubby baby into a lanky tweener with a passion for sleepovers, and her meals were often spent in the company of her 2 little best friends rather than the family. Granny had her canasta parties, and Applejack was doing well for herself in college, to hear her tell it. It was pretty much a given that AJ was going to end up tending the family orchard alongside her brother, but her childhood love of horses had not faded either. And then there came the Equine Studies Scholarship from the one school in their price range that offered a 4-year degree. Yes, their eldest daughter had not been present for dinner for a few months now, and would not be a frequent sight at the table for another several years at least. Pear Butter was still adjusting to this fact. Some days were easier than others. So, yes, sometimes there came a perfect storm of absence, and that meant that for tonight, dinner was just the 2 of them. Hardly seemed worth it to turn on the oven, really, but reheated cold casserole was unappetizing enough without adding microwaves to the equation. She and Bright Mac had just settled down at the table with plates of steaming beef and noodles and mushroom soup mix, accompanied by freshly cracked bottles of Winter Reserve cider from their own brewery, when the call came in. Pear Butter sighed as she got up from the table and walked to the kitchen to answer the phone, knowing full well, even as she did so, that she wouldn't have it any other way. But her petulance changed to alarm when she heard her daughter on the other end of the line.
Ma?
Came her daughter's hesitant voice. Applejack's voice was shaky and thick with emotion, and a quick surge of maternal panic rose in Pear Butter's breast.
Applejack? Honey, is something the matter?
A great sniff from the other end of the line.
No, it's all fine. Fine and dandy.
The bright flash of Pear Butter's initial fear faded to an even, slow-burning concern.
Something has to be the matter, honey.
It's fine. I swear. It ain't in the middle of the night or nothing where you are, is it?
Come again? I know you're a ways away, AJ, but it's not a whole different time zone. You're still in school, right? You're not somewhere halfway around the world or anything.
The flame of panic again. There came the briefest of hedges.
I promise y'all, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Ain't nothing the matter, really. Nothing to be concerned or worried about. Your daughter's fine.
Well, you're giving us a right fright. Your father and I were just sitting down to supper.
Right. Something with cows in it, I expect.
Hamburger casserole. The kind you like. Honey,
As long as it ain't cows.
Applejack breathed an audible sigh. Pear Butter was not at all certain what she ought to say to that.
Your father is here. Do you want to talk to him?
No.
Pear Butter frowned as something like a strangled sob came from the receiver.
No, I just don't know. I don't think I can bear it. Why, you were right all along. This was a rotten idea from the get-go.
There was a brief pulse of static, as though the reception on her daughter's cell phone had gone spotty.
Applejack!
Said a second voice on the other end of the line, quicker, clipped, higher in pitch, a little muted due to distance from the receiver. A college friend of her daughter's? Elsewhere in the same room?
Please be careful walking around the device. We need to maintain an unbroken link between the Crystal Mountain ley line and the mirror portal.
Ley line?
Pear Butter was now thoroughly befuddled.
Landline.
Clarified the second voice, much clearer, as though its owner had taken the phone away from Applejack.
Not ley line. Landline. You know, like the type of telephone you have there?
Yes, holding tight to the old ways. I'm proud of it. Miss Twi, is it?
Twilight Sparkle. It's good to talk to you, Mrs. Apple. Applejack has told us so much about you.
I'm flattered. Could you help me understand a mite bit what's going on out there, Miss Sparkle?
The voice hesitated.
Oh, it's just that, Applejack had the idea that maybe that we could call you and talk to you. And she was really interested in the idea. So I dug into my Hoofensburg and put together a really crazy apparatus that harnesses ley line energy and projects it across quantum doorways that are untraversable to solid matter. And it works!
A brief noise, like two hard objects clapping themselves together in an excited fashion.
Oh, this is so exciting!
Come again?
A startled pause.
That is to say, we decided to pick up our cellular telephones in our hands and give you a call, Mrs. Apple. I realize this might sound a little strange, but your daughter had something she wanted to say to you. I'm not sure she's up to it anymore. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if the next time you talk to her that she doesn't remember any of this going on.
And there it was. Finally, the pattern resolved in Pear Butter's mind, and the last smoldering remnants of her panic were extinguished in a cloud of gentle amusement.
I see what's going on here.
You do?
A worm of fear entered the young woman's voice.
Isn't it a bit early for my daughter to be this foggy, Miss Sparkle? And on a weeknight, too. You better tell me that my daughter's decision to drink tonight corresponds directly with the lack of classes tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
The fear vanished from Twilight Sparkle's voice.
Yes, I can guarantee you that Applejack has no classes tomorrow.
Does he need a driver all picked up? You, maybe?
Actually, it's immaterial. We're already at the place we're staying tonight. It's at my old full-sitter's castle.
Pear Butter blinked at the phone.
Babysitter's castle. Sorry, I misspoke. The point is, we're taking good care of her, ma'am.
See that you do.
Pear Butter wondered at the odd company Applejack was keeping nowadays.
Now, does my daughter have anything else she'd like to tell me before her father and I get back to our supper?
The rustle again, the phone being handed back.
Yeah?
Applejack sniffled.
Yeah. I do got something more to say. I love you, Ma. I love Pa, too. I love y'all more than I reckon I know how to say. And I ain't never said it enough. I'm sorry for all them times I got a little headstrong and came at you with fighting words. Ain't none of 'em matter more'n smoke. Truth is, I regretted every single one. If I could take 'em back, I would.
There's nothing to be sorry for, Applejack. You are who you are, and your father and I love you for it, even if we do get a little hot under the collar sometimes.
I miss the both of you. I miss you so much. Sometimes I can't hardly stand it no more. Feels like a timber wolf howling inside of me, and I want to go out running and just not stop so as I can make the hurt go away, but it never works. 'Cause the only thing that'll make it better is Pa's neck laid over mine and your breath warm on my withers.
Pear Butter's eyes felt full. She brushed away a little tear.
We miss you too, sweetheart. I know your classwork won't always permit it, but you can always come home and see us.
No. That's just it. I can't.
I worry with how full you got your schedule. You and the way you overwork yourself, AJ. I want you to know that no matter where in the world you roam, your pa and I are pulling for you. And even if you can't see us or talk to us, you're always with us in our hearts. Always, Applejack.
Same for me with the two of you. 100 times over. Oh, sweet Celestia, Twilight, I can't do this no more.
You can just say goodbye and hang up.
Said Applejack's friend gently.
Anything you want me to tell your father before you go?
Sure, tell him. Tell him I still got his hat.
I'll do that, sweetheart. I love you.
I love you too.
And then the line clicked with a curiously musical burst of static, and she was gone. Pear Butter returned to the dinner table, smiling wistfully. Bright Mac, always a gentleman, had refrained from taking even a bite until his wife was there to share it with him, and given Bright Mac's appetite, Pear Butter knew that the gesture was a considerable sacrifice for the man.
Everything all right?
Your daughter loves us and misses us, and she wants you to know she has that old hat of yours.
Pear Butter picked up her fork.
She'd better. It's a good hat.
Bright Mac tucked into his food at last.
It turns out your daughter gets a little muddling when she's in Biblin. Gets it from your side of the family, I expect.
No, can't be. Apples are happy drunks.
I'm shocked. Shocked to discover she hasn't waited to reach the legal age to find us out for herself. Some parental failing on our parts, I imagine.
Girl's gonna take over the family business. She's gotta learn how to tell good cider from bad. Earlier the better.
We're terrible parents.
Kids turned out all right, didn't they?
Yes. Yes, they did.
Pear Butter smiled. She put down her fork and worried her napkin a little.
It's just so hard to let them go. Hard to know when it's time to let them face the world alone.
Sounded like she had a friend there with her. Responsible one?
A bit, eccentric maybe. But, yeah.
Well, there you go. She ain't facing the world alone. She's got good friends. Can't ask for more than that.
Bright Mac Apple, you're as wise as you are handsome. And I love you dearly.
Love you too, Buttercup.
Pear Butter held up her bottle of Apple Family Winter Reserve.
Here's to the children we made. May they grow, learn, and always be loved. All through their long lives through.
Bright Mac raised his own bottle.
Amen to that.
They clinked.
It didn't last a spring. You shoved me out before the nest was cold. I couldn't fly, but God, I tried. I hit the ground and I was on my own, alone in a big blue land with only my legs to stand and no one to lend a hand or to pick me up. I see the sky where you would fly, and I would wait for you so patiently. But I was weak, and soon I had an empty beak. I guess I wasn't